Welcome to The Third Chair, a show about real people, real stories, real life. And here are your hosts for The Third Chair, Peter Grigg and Doug Bazeski.
Well, I was surprised last week. Ari sure has a lot of energy.
Oh yes, and we had a lot of fun.
I think we've laughed quite a bit. Well, we laughed a lot in pre-production.
Yeah, I don't think we'll laugh as much this week.
maybe not. Anyway, so we're welcoming back for a follow-up interview Ari Spearman, who is a female entrepreneur. She works at Primerica and a single mom of a son who's a basketball player, and she's a writer. So I look forward to seeing what else she's going to share with us tonight.
Me too.
Hi, and welcome to The Third Chair. I'm Peter, that's Doug, and this is Ari Spearman. We are so honored to have her back this week. And we're going to talk about what she spends a lot of her day doing, and that is working, like the rest of us. So you were at Primerica.
Yes, I am at Primerica. So
tell us about that.
I am the part-time office manager.
Part-time office
manager.
And
I build my business, my own business, the other part-time.
So are you a franchise owner then?
Yes, so we are individual franchise owners, mm-hmm. independent contractors. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so, like, what kinds of things do you do? It's financial services, is it not?
Right. So I represent the most corrupt, crooked, malicious industry in the world, financial services, right?
Oh, I've gotten taken by a few.
I've got taken by a few, believe me, right?
Offered some really bad deals.
But when you can teach people how to beat them,
mm-hmm.
you know, it's something, it's a beautiful feeling. It does something different, you know, when it's a crusade that's righting a wrong in an industry that's taking advantage of the hardworking people in our community, you know?
Yeah, I really hate it when somebody sells a product that you know that person doesn't need at a price that's way too high.
All the time.
Yeah, you know, I remember I was like 31 and I had some money in the bank and 4 kids or 3 kids at the time, maybe 2, I don't know. You know, but this financial guy wanted to sell me an insurance product that cost $10,000.
$10,000.
Yeah, and that was back in 1995.
Insure you for $100 million?
No, that was just it. And, you know, and it was like a whole life kind of policy and some little tiny investment component, but it was.
They constantly take advantage of families because of lack of education. Right?
Yeah.
Just because you
turned
don't know.
that down, but I was surprised he offered it.
I'm glad you turned it down.
As a matter of fact, I stopped working with him because I felt like that was an unscrupulous thing to do.
It's very malicious because he was taking your lack of education for a weakness, because mm-hmm. instead of teaching you what you should have gotten and educating you of what you could have or what's out there, mm-hmm. he just this is it, right? Yeah. And that's what we see a lot of times, and it's because, you know, the life insurance industry itself is not regulated. Mm-hmm. You know, back in the 60s, 50s, they bailed out the government, and so now they no longer, you know, that was their stipulation. We're going to give you this cash money bailout, you know, so that you can get the money, but you're not going to be able to ever regulate us. So what they did was these people have used that to be as a weapon mm-hmm. to attack us hardworking people. Mm-hmm. And that's what, I mean, it brings me to the highest of festivity, because it's like, you know what? How many times are you going to take advantage of a individual who just doesn't know, who's bending over backwards to make sure that they make ends meet? Mm-hmm. And you know, that's why I'm so excited to be a part of Primerica, because cool. It allows me the opportunity to tell on all of those jokers who are taking advantage of the people that I deeply care about. And mm-hmm. I'm able to educate them without them having to come out of pocket and pay me a dime. I'm able to mm-hmm. give them that peace of mind and that mm-hmm. love that they need when it comes to their money, because we know that we're fearful when it comes to our money. I want to hang on to this dollar as tight as I can. You know, I don't want somebody coming in here and snatching it from under me.
Boy, that's for sure. I mean, I even remember unscrupulous financial people like trying to sell stocks that are worthless. Just so many things, so many bad investments. You labor to cut your expenses to have a little money to invest, and then people try and dump crap on you.
Exactly. Instead of educating people, letting them know, okay, well, you know, I understand. Yeah, investments are great. Investments are awesome, but let's break it down. Right? So when are you trying to retire? What do you want to use this investment money for? And let's talk about a mutual fund. You know, let's get a little bit of ownership in a bunch of different companies. That way, if one company goes out of business, you're not going to feel the pain under your belt, right? Let's give people some of the information that these wealthy people are passing on to their families. You know what I mean? And you give people the opportunity, give them the information, and allow them to do with it what they want to do with it. If you want to sleep on it and continue to stay ignorant, great. I did my job because I gave you the information.
Yeah, and it sounds like the company also does a good job of individualizing plans rather than coming at you with I've worked with financial people too that have their cookie cutter approach, or their firm for whatever reason is only selling certain mutual funds.
Right.
Yeah, you know, without
sometimes
choices.
they get a bonus for
Yeah.
selling certain ones.
Yeah.
Well, because it's a commission-based business. You know, you want to make money, you work with money, right?
Right.
But you have to have good intentions, because if you don't have good intentions, you're constantly going to be malicious because you're chasing the dollar. You're not chasing the value. You're not chasing the impact. Going back to impacting 1 million lives, that's breaking it down. Okay, I've got group life insurance through my job. What does that really mean? What does that mean for my family? Does it mean I have beneficiaries? Do I have to die a certain type of way? You know what I mean? And even when simple stuff like that, because accidental death, if you don't die by accidental death and you get dismembered, then your family's not paid out. Right? So how many
that
times?
would go back to the scuba diving and the shark.
You know? Yeah. But if I would have took time off from work to go scuba diving, then I'm not an active employee. You know, so it's a lot of loopholes that people have to jump through. So instead of, let's have an advocate, somebody who will be on your side, educate you, let you know what it is that you're spending your money on. And that's what Primerica allows us to do, because you're getting a system. It's an individualized system, and everybody. Okay, you can be an agent or you can be a client. We're going to plug into the system and we're going to treat everybody the same way, but not everybody's goals are the same in that system. You may want to send kids to college, but you may want to retire.
And you alluded to this a little bit, but do you feel like with what you do at Primerica that you are able to build your business that is consistent with your own personal? I mean, there's company values, which are good, but also, can you build it and act in a way that's consistent with your personal values?
Absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of the business, because I don't have to change who Ari is. I am building a foundation that's based on what Ari believes in. And I believe in pushing up people. I believe that the foundation of any great business comes from the love and the curiosity that you have for others. And so I'm able to put that into my Primerica business, and that is my foundation. So it's not about chasing a dollar. Yeah, we need money to survive, you know, but it's deeper than that. It's going down into your heart, you know, something that we're not measured by what we have in our heart anymore. It's all about experience and what have you gone through in life, you know. So now I'm able to create an environment where people can be founded on love and unity, and you don't have to constantly look on your back to see if somebody's trying to step on your toes or get over the next one or getting over, you know. So it allows me the peace of mind to know that I'm creating an environment that the world desires.
And do you set like professional goals, like for each year? Do you have to
all the time?
Yeah,
all the time. I know I don't usually have income goals or anything like that, but impacting lives. You know, I want to. Each month it's like, okay, I helped 12 families this month. I want to help 15 families this month, or I want to help 30 families this month. Whether that's helping them with a will or prepaid legal, or giving them advice for a resource that's not within the Primerica umbrella. You know, just being able to be out there and be an advocate for people.
Now, I've noticed that you're a woman, and I've noticed that you're African American.
You're a great noticer.
Yeah, I have my I don't have my glasses on though, but at least I'm not calling you Doug. And
We look a little different.
Yeah. She's the eye candy. I'm just the candy.
I don't know what that means.
As in like
I
a
think
chunky
you lost
cherry.
your point somewhere
Little
there.
snack, that's it.
Well, my question's this, and we may need to pick it up a little bit on the next segment. Sometimes clients can be jerks, and maybe they're not actually clients. Maybe they're people considering being a client. Have you found at times that people have treated you not as respectfully, perhaps as they should?
All the time. And
All the time. Let's hold that
all
thought
the
then.
time.
Yeah, we will come right back and we'll find
see
out.
what-
The official coffee of the Kentucky-Arizona Walnut Association?
It's kava.
The national coffee of Kawasaki, Japan?
It's kava.
Hiya!
Is it the secret elixir of the surfers in Hawaii?
Or is it the secret island recipe of Kona, Koala, Kauai, or Cola?
It's kava. Kava is Polish for coffee. And here at Kava Coffee, we focus on serving a delicious, high-quality cup of coffee in a space where love, coffee, and people mix into the perfect blend.
We value our relationships with our customers and our roasters. Buy locally whenever possible and truly have the homemade touch. Our pastries, syrups, and even our almond milk are made in-house.
So come on in, relax, get some work done. Enjoy the Kava community, some encouraging words from the Kava Coffee gang.
Kava coffee.
Be awake.
Welcome to the third chair. I'm Peter. That man there is still Doug. And we are here today with Ari Spearman. And when we left off, she was, I asked her the question that as a person in the financial services industry and as a woman and an African American, whether she, let's say, had some disrespectful or difficult potential clients. And I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about that.
So absolutely. Obviously, I don't come from a background of money or financial education or any or people's standard of what financial education coaches look like. Typically, no offense, guys, but typically they expect to see an old, pale, stale male, right? So when they see, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Hey,
typical
constipated.
financial, typical
With a
financial,
suit, yeah,
with a
yeah.
suit buttoned up all the way to the top, a little
Uh-huh.
bit like on edge, kind of like,
So OPSM.
there it is. There it is. He said it, right?
Yeah.
So when they don't see that, it's like, oh my gosh, you don't know what you're talking about. There's like, I haven't even opened my mouth yet. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even know what I stand for, right? So at first, that's exactly what it was. That's what every impression was. It was like, I need help. I'm starting this business. I'm super excited, and they're like, finance? No. And it was discouraging. It was so hurtful because it's like, what the hell? Women are not supposed to just be stuck as stay-at-home moms for all their lives. Like, why are we the ones that cannot come out of the box, that are stuck in this turtle shell, all the time? Like, you're supposed to be raising your kids. I had this lady tell me that I was wasting my time. I needed to use my pretty face and marry into money and stop trying to, I was ruining her sons because they didn't know that people lived like that. And I'm like, you're a black woman. What are you saying? You're saying that we don't amount to anything because we have these pretty faces? No, you know what I mean? There needs to be more people who understand that we have more value to bring. And that's what really helped me kind of fight through and pursue Primerica, because it's like we're stuck into this square that you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do this. Look, I'm sorry, I'm not picking cotton anymore, right? I'm not working for somebody else. I'm going to build something for myself and for my family.
And it seems like it's a little bit superficial, and that people also might not think, you probably have coaching and mentoring and training, and you probably are as prepared as anybody else.
Yes.
But they're really just sort of judging you on a stereotype rather than
you have to be
what you've actually gone through to prepare to do the job right.
Right, and you have to be a student of the game. You have to be. I mean, they're always talking about, it takes 7 days to form a habit. It takes 21 days to form a habit. It takes this many days to form a habit. How many days does it take to break a bad habit? Let's, do we ever talk about things like that? Do we ever talk about, the training that we go through at a young age to believe that we're only supposed to amount to this much, that, we're only supposed to go to school, get an education, get a degree, and get a job, and retire. And, that's how we were trained to think. But when you start allowing yourself understanding of who you are, like, goodness, I'm more than just an African-American woman. Right? I have more to bring to the table than just a black woman. Yeah, I got a pretty face, but you know what's inside my heart? Do you know the passion? Do you know the drive? Do you know what I can do for you? So it's that confidence that we, and that love that we have to possess in ourselves, so that we can be able to pursue and be a student of the game and accept the mentorship and know, like, okay, I'm going to learn from somebody who's doing it so that I can create it as well.
Awesome. That was the questions I had about your employment. I was going to ask you about what you did as an office manager, but, what could that be? Make the coffee, pick up the policies, kick people out that aren't wearing a mask.
I'm actually the compliance cop. I keep everybody out of jail. I make sure that we're staying compliant, that you're learning how to be an independent business owner, because we're all trained to be employees. So when you're like, oh, I want to start a business, what does that mean? You have to be disciplined. You have to have a schedule. But we're independent contractors, but you got to know how to follow up. You got to know how to contact your clients. You got to know how to schedule appointments. You're everything, and you're learning. So I'm that liaison, that person that's kind of holding your hand, but telling you to do it yourself. Like, okay, Ari, I need to fax these documents. I need to get this to home office. Okay, great. I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to walk you through what needs to be done. That way you know how to do it on your own.
So what I hear you saying is that some of the people you work with, you also have to give the look.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
That look comes in everywhere.
Oh, yeah. And you just tell your face. Tell your face.
But you have to do that because some of those are legal I mean, you can't just say you're in business and be in business nowadays. You have
Well, I want to set people up for
Yeah.
success because
Yeah.
yes, I know I know a lot of the answers. You know, me and home office are best friends, but my job is to help you be independent.
Mhm.
So if I'm constantly doing it for you every single time, you're not really learning how to be independent. You're learning how to be dependent on Ari. So let's learn how to be independent. Let's learn how to change from employee brain to business brain.
Sure. Yeah. That's good. Good.
One of the things you talked about being a nerd in high school and stuff, and you read a lot of books, and you talked about that. You know, after your son was born, self-help books helped bring you back. So, what do you like to read?
So I started, I am a nerdy gurdy. I do consider myself a nerdy gurdy. I've got these cat-like glasses that I like to wear at nighttime when I pull out my mini library. But I started with, the Harry Potter series, read all the Harry Potter books. And then Roald Dahl was one of my favorite authors. Matilda and James the Giant Peach, all of those, with the movies to follow. And then I quickly learned, even though they make a movie to the book, it's not always the best, right?
Right.
So it was like, okay, I got to expand my book collection more, So then as I got older, I went into the steamy, more Danielle Steele novels and things like that. And then I started realizing, you can learn different things from the minds of these people. And so going into business, I started, reading, I started with now I'm drawing a blank. The Reposition Yourself by T.D. Jakes.
Oh, okay.
The Power of Deliberate Intent. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Yes.
That's one of
Oh
my
my
favorites.
Stephen Covey.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I just recently finished Wishes Don't Bring You Riches by Napoleon Hill.
Oh, really? That must be one of his earlier books.
Oh my gosh! And you know what's funny? Because I'm a nerdy gurdy and I'm always balling on a budget. I found it at the Dollar Tree.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and so I'm looking.
The Dollar Tree sells books?
Yeah. So you see,
yeah,
look at you.
Oh,
See
wait a
how you
minute.
learn something new every day, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going through and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is one of his classics, one of the lost. They call it a lost collection.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of Think and Grow Rich. So I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah, so that's probably his most famous book.
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill. Yeah.
So I picked up that one. I like Think Better, Live Better by Joel Osteen.
Mm-hmm.
The Secret,
So you know
Law
the
of
secret
Attraction.
now?
Yes, The Law of Attraction. There it is. That was
Law of
the
Attraction.
first book that I read, and then I followed that one up with the Law of Deliberate Intent. But they all tie in to each other. It's all about controlling your mind, understanding what you can and cannot control, giving out what it is that you want. So those books really allowed me to understand, oh my goodness, I'm meant for this stuff, right? I'm part of entrepreneurship too. It's not that hard, right? I can learn how to become a more effective person, but me loving on people all comes back down to the same grounded foundation, because people is the foundation. It's all about how you treat others.
Right. And that's a book you mentioned in the pre-production and that I love is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
How to Win Friends and Influence People. Yes.
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie, yeah.
Yeah, boy, I think that's one book anyone that wants to be an entrepreneur has to read.
You
That's
have
probably,
to. And E-Myth.
I don't think so.
E-Myth
the
also.
E-Myth is good.
The
Yeah.
E-Myth also.
E-Myth debunked.
Yes.
Yeah. Work on your business, not in your business. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good one.
But it's understanding, how the brain works, and I think knowing that it has to be a mindset shift. I read Power Shift by Damon John, and it's everything comes from here. If you're not willing to shift the mindset, then what are you doing?
Power Shift.
Power Shift.
Is he one of the sharks?
Yes.
Shark
One of
Tank?
Shark Tank
Yeah,
sharks.
yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
We'll talk more about books after this break.
We'll get back to our guest in just a moment. But
do you have a story to tell?
Would you, yes you, like to be a guest on The Third Chair?
Send us an email and tell us about yourself and your story.
And please follow us on social media.
Now back to the episode. Welcome back to The Third Chair. There's Peter. He's gonna do something.
Am I doing something? I thought you had some more questions about books for Ari.
I do, but I figure you're gonna do something.
No, I'm just really excited to be here.
It makes two of us.
Yeah,
No,
each and every week.
I don't care if you're excited, but I love it when our guests are excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah, good. So your son, does he share your love of books, or?
He does on occasion. I've had to force him to read a few books, but he did express that he was grateful for me to force him to read a few books. So I did make him the recent book that he hadn't finished during the pandemic was The Mamba Mentality. So understanding work ethic and what it takes to to be great. If that's something
So
that
you give him
aspire
some
to be.
serious books. Huh?
The Mamba?
Yeah. The Mamba Mentality.
The
So
Mamba.
that's Kobe Bryant's book.
Oh, okay. I know Kobe
Yeah,
Bryant, famous
so-
work
Oh,
ethic.
Yeah, so Kobe
I
Bryant.
was thinking like the Zumba.
Oh no!
Yeah,
It wasn't the dancing mentality.
Yeah.
No, it was the Mamba Mentality by Kobe Bryant. So that was his personal.
Do you make him read a physical book?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Is that what you do too, or do you have everything on Kindle?
Absolutely not. That's weak. We're
We're
actual book shoppers. We've got the actual pages,
But
black and white.
Kindle, you can get a lot of books for like
$2.
99 cents.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool, but I'm old
Oh, you
school.
like
I've got an old soul. I told you
I'm with you.
Rolodex. I'm
Yeah.
Rolodex style. So if it's getting down to the bind, like putting the bookmark in there, and being able to flip through and smell the pages as you're reading them and ingesting that energy, and it's different.
I need something to throw if he doesn't put his shoes away.
No. I'll pick up a remote or unzip a shoe real quick and then chuck it before I toss one of my books across the room.
Yeah, the books are
Valuable.
priceless. And
Yes,
the shoes you can
very
waste.
valuable.
Yeah.
It's the shoes.
Yeah,
the shoes gotta go.
$120 Jordans.
Yeah, let those things fly. Let those things fly.
Now I forgot my question. So have you let him read fun books like Harry Potter? Has he read the Harry Potter book?
He's not a big Harry Potter. He used to be a big Pete the Cat, Captain Underpants. He's a big in AP Advanced Placement Language class, so they're reading novels and things like that in that class. But he's not a huge super duper reader.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I'll wrap him into one of my stories, like, oh my gosh, Saran, let me read this to you. Or I'll be reading out loud throughout the house, and he'll, plop on the bed and listen in. And I can kind of wrap him in and trick him that way. But ever since he's gone out of that bedtime phase, reading I can only force so much reading. So as long as I find something interesting, I can kind of oh my gosh, this is pretty cool, and then kind of slip it in there, and then he'll be like, Mom, oh my gosh, I was reading that Ripley's Believe It or Not, and can you, so little things like that I can kind of pique his interest. He likes to read about history, basketball players and what they've had to go through, Larry Bird, things like that. So he really likes stories like that.
Good boy.
Yeah.
You also take care of your nephew.
Yes.
Can you tell us about him?
Yes. So my nephew, he is my other little half. So I consider him the other half because at his birth, my sister had us taking care of him for a while. And they say he's autistic. My sister hasn't gotten him tested or anything like that. But he's on the lower end of the spectrum. He's 8 years old, and he's the best. He's the best thing out there. He's so creative. He's so smart. He can probably tell you everybody who plays the characters in Shrek movie. Just
Better than
extremely
me,
intelligent, right? Just extremely intelligent. But we get him 3 to 4 times a week, and he's a part of our family. He comes in. It's TT's and cousin, so my son calls him his cousin brother. And we're a unit, we take care of each other. We're there for each other. He understands that that this is our unit, this is our family, this is our bond, So a lot of times when he doesn't get to spend time with us, it's kind of hard, But he's my other son,
Wow.
So that's important.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of extra time and emotional investments.
Absolutely. But when it comes to family, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
When like we talked about before, when you love, you're willing to do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter if you're exhausted, you're having a bad day. If it doesn't matter whatever's going on at the time. It's about what they're getting from the love that I give. When I charge their batteries with my energy, it's reciprocated back, so it kind of removes that exhaustion. It's that those moments that we need, when everybody's looking at you like, Mom, I'm hungry, and it's that, okay, well, that sense of being again,
Are you, would you describe yourself as an introvert or an extrovert? Now, we've seen on both shows, you're bubbly, you're outgoing, you're very energetic. But I've known lots of introverts that are the same way. When you want to recharge, do you like to be by yourself and quiet, or do you like to be around other people?
When I like to recharge, I like to be by myself.
Introvert.
It's not a bad thing.
But
hey, introverts make the world run.
But
there's a book called Quiet Out.
But I love the energy that I receive around people. So it depends. It depends on that feeling.
So you're kind of both. You got a little bit of both.
It depends on what it is what that feeling is.
So how do you recharge then?
I do a lot of meditating and self-talk. I talk to myself a lot, and I talk to God a lot because I know that He's listening. But my son usually tells me that I'm talking to myself. But I do a lot of self-talk, and I do a lot of reflecting. I do a lot of, I'm not a big, Indian style, I'm gonna meditate. That's not my sense of meditation. But taking a moment to just sit back and remove myself out of the element, take myself out of the situation, just kind of take a look at life as things are passing by, right? I do that very frequently, at least once or twice a day, where I just kind of remove myself from the act of everyday life and just sit.
Are you musical?
Am I musical?
Are you musical? Do you like to sing? Do you play
in the
instruments?
shower, in the car, where people can't hear me? Of course. I think we all have a little bit of musical in our bones, especially when people can't hear us. I play clarinet.
I played clarinet growing up too. Do you still play?
I play it every so often. I'm not the greatest, but I love the way that it harmonizes and sounds.
So you still have your high school clarinet?
Yep, I still have my high school clarinet.
Oh my goodness,
Yep.
Were you in marching band?
Yep, I was in marching band.
Man.
I did a couple parade of lights where I froze my fingers.
We need pictures of marching band on the
gosh.
show.
Yeah.
I think all of our kids were in marching band.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow, that's fantastic. Any other instruments? Guitar?
No other instruments. My sister played flute and I did the clarinet. But like I said, my mom was a stickler. You had to do something. So we were in band.
Sure. Yeah. And I understand. I mean, I love this term, nerdy-gurdy. That may become the show's motto. But you, and this is not unusual for nerdy-gurdy people, are also a writer.
Yes.
So in the next minute or so, tell us about what you wrote, or what have you been working on? What are your projects?
So I've got several, we all know how writers are. You kind of like dibble-dabble in a lot of little things. But recently I had a personal experience where I kind of just started honing it all in together. It's a book called Perspective. And it's basically about how one decision that one person can make can effectively change the perspective of everybody's life in a different way. So my 19-year-old cousin, now my cousin and I, we have a sister cousin relationship, kind of like my son and my nephew, right? So she's my sister at heart, but she's actually my cousin by law or blood or whatever you guys call it, right? But her 19-year-old son actually attempted suicide by taking 75 pills.
Oh my god.
And so it's about how this experience, the decision and the choice that he made over a girl, or however they made him feel at school, how that choice that he made to take those pills changed the lives of everybody around him.
Oh my god, that sounds intense. I hope that gets published, and we'll be right back after this break. The force.
Wow, that was good.
Yeah. Live long and prosper.
He does better than you, Peter.
Oh yeah, I'm totally outclassed.
I can get him a little, but not as.
I can do it a little bit.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, that's
better.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, she's really good at it.
Yeah. This finger was fractured from volleyball. So it just does its own thing, She kind of just does her own thing.
But it helps with this.
Yeah, all the way.
Nice. Nice.
Very good.
Well, I think
Leonard
we should do
Nimoy
this.
would be
Yeah,
proud.
yeah. This entire segment tonight will be hand gestures. And the look. So what are we doing? We're on the third chair, and we are on a new segment. And you were asking questions about books, or did we go to something different?
We finished with the books.
The books are done.
Yeah,
okay.
We had the argument of Kindle versus non-Kindle.
Oh yeah. So
we're not going to go to the dark side.
No.
Yeah.
Both are great.
Yeah,
Both are great.
we're
I mean,
to
I
each
like
his
to
own.
read regular books.
Yes.
I make sure I have them in my cycle.
See? So you understand the importance of keeping the original stuff.
Right. I think it's important. Yeah.
So what about music? I mean, you said you're an old soul. That often applies to people that sing, certain kinds of music, soul music.
Yes.
Is there, is that your thing, or what's your genre that you like?
So I'm an old soul. I love soul. I love gospel music. I love Pastor Mike and anything old school, Michael Jackson. I like, the
amazing entertainer.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing.
Just I caught my son listening to Billie Jean the other day. But just the real music.
So that's good, right?
Yeah, real music, we don't have very much of that nowadays. Of course, I like my Nipsey Hussle and my Cardi's every once in a while, but
like Cardi B?
Yeah, some of her stuff is a little out there. But
Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah, not Stallion level, but some of that stuff is decent music, what is his name? DJ Khaled, and I like some of those songs and stuff that are out there. Teddy Brooks, there's this Broke song that's pretty good if you haven't heard. You should hear.
Teddy Brooks.
Teddy Brooks, yeah.
I don't know.
He's pretty cool too. Yeah.
I'm a classic rock and roll guy.
But I am very open to all kinds of music. You know, especially the original good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You know, yeah.
Did you ever listen to Johnny Cash?
Oh yes.
Johnny Cash.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Johnny Cash is good. I like Mary J. Blige.
Wow.
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin.
Aretha Franklin. Yes.
Yeah.
Shirley Temple. Yes.
Shirley Temple. You were about to say Shirley Temple. Oh man.
Yep.
A Good Ship Lollipop.
Oh yeah.
She was famous before we were born.
See, old soul. So I go way back then. I feel pretty good then.
She went on to be an ambassador
for the UN.
For the UN, yeah. I mean, you know, that was really quite a change of the way I think about her from. Freckled kid dancing to
the Good Ship
world stage, world stage, and now let's you know, because we talked earlier and at least on the break, you talked about growing up as a nerd, but I've noticed sort of a certain toughness about you and strength about you as well. So it made me wonder in high school whether you were ever in a gang or dealing with gangs, you know. And so where'd you go to high school, and was it a kind of a rough neighborhood?
So I originally went to Sierra High School. Sierra High School, Southern Colorado. A lot of people know it as a pretty tough school. It wasn't affiliated with a gang, but I did get bullied a lot. Going into my freshman year of high school, I was actually jumped my eighth grade going into ninth grade by like 12 girls, you know, that I didn't even know them. Got a couple swings in, but ultimately, I mean,
you're numbered.
Obviously, you know, so I practiced some track skills back then. But when you grow up in that type of environment, you understand what your surroundings are. So you put that armor on as such, right? You know, you don't necessarily have to be a part of a gang, but you know that you got to be a tough cookie. You know, and I'm from Long Island, New York, so
there's a little. I thought there was a little sass in there.
Just a little bit.
Do you drive like a New Yorker as well?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I've been pretty clean with you guys tonight. I gotta definitely have a different side to me when you get on the angry side, you know.
You mean like with some of your verbal expressions?
Oh yeah. I mean, I probably caught myself a few times, you know, but my mouth used to be as dirty as the streets of New York. You know, I've cleaned it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I still have my moments, right? I still have my moments. But it never goes away. That's part of me. That's part of who I am. It's part of where it came from, you know. So when you have that in you, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, you channel it where it needs to be channeled. You don't have to box everybody, but they need to know that, hey, I'm not the one to mess with.
Yeah, and yet at the same time, academics in high school were really important. You said you were in the top 7 people that graduated.
Yes. So it's a funny story though, Peter. Like, okay, so 2 years before I graduated, my older sister graduated high school. And I remember being at her graduation, and her last name was Robinson, my last name is Spearman. And so I remember sitting there, and people were kind of like nodding off. Because it's a long ceremony. Let's just be honest, it's 400 students.
Yeah, I even find the show long.
It's long, right? And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, God, I've got to do something to make sure that my family doesn't fall asleep. S comes after R, so, you know, I think it's going to be even longer for me. So I wanted to do something to make sure that my family didn't fall asleep during my graduation. So I picked up some advanced placement classes. And those, I don't know, back in the day, but those classes you get more points for when you
right, you get B,
exactly. So if you get an A, you get a 5.0. So I held my advanced placement classes at an A at all of my advanced placement classes. So I was able to graduate with a 4.7 GPA.
Nice.
And I graduated number 7th out of 400 students in my class.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
so super nerdy gritty.
So you got to go the day now.
Yeah. So I was actually in the front row. Right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was actually in the front row.
So
I had a yellow rope. Yeah. Yes. Actually, they ended up not even staying here the whole time because I was one of the first ones to graduate. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's one
Yeah.
kind of bonus.
So because they do the top kids of the class, and then they do alphabetical order.
So they left you there.
Yeah.
So did you apply
Like,
to
oh, you come
different colleges then to do volleyball? Did
Oh,
you?
yeah.
So you went the whole like, okay, I'm all in for a
Oh, yeah.
scholarship wherever I go.
Oh yeah.
And you ended up Florida.
Yep. I applied to so many schools, and I had an amazing counselor, Melva Hall. I'm not sure if she's still around, but she was phenomenal. And you know, like I said, I don't come from money. I know you always say like you look so rich. I have a rich spirit, but I don't come from money. So Melva, she showed me how to do waivers so that I wouldn't have to pay all those application fees for college. So I used my GPA instead of my SAT scores, and I applied and 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 applied, and I just applied everywhere. I felt like I had maybe vomited on the colleges because I put in applications everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a good strategy. You know, I've talked with lots of friends that have gone to college and did athletics, and the story I hear from a bunch of them is that they ended up getting hurt, having a lot of injuries in college. You know, and so I don't know. Is college athletics as a goal all that great? And I look at it from the point of view, it's good to get a free ride for college, but when people are prematurely not able to walk, and they're 40,
right?
You know, it makes me wonder.
It's the same with professional athletes, though. You know, and I think that yes, college sports is very tough on your body. It's a commitment that you have to be willing to make. You know, if that's what you're willing to do, yeah, you're using your body as your sacrifice to reach the goals and dreams that you're looking to accomplish. But how bad do you want it? What are you willing to do to help your body prepare for those situations and circumstances? Because it goes a little bit deeper than just getting that scholarship. Because now that you have that scholarship, you've been paid for. So it is still a business, right?
Yes.
So you have to believe it as such. And when you believe that it's still a business, these people, you understand that they're going to protect their asset because you're part of that business. So if that means that this asset is going to need to bust its asset so that it can get my assets up, then that's the expectation. So you have to understand it as such. It's not that they don't care about you as a person. It's still a business.
Right.
Right.
Well, I've noticed that they like to cover their assets.
Your assets.
And we'll talk more about that when we come right back. We sure hope you're enjoying this episode of The Third Chair.
Would you like to be a sponsor for The Third Chair?
We would love to have you join us to keep the show going and also help your business. Send us an email about your product or company and let's talk.
And follow us on social media.
Now back to The Third Chair.
Welcome back to The Third Chair.
Yay!
We got it.
Woo!
We're having fun in the breaks here.
Yeah, we've
That's
turned on the
Peter.
laughing gas.
Peter, here's Ari. Ari.
The Little Mermaid. Yeah.
Mysterious.
You know, we had a mermaid on the show.
Yeah?
Yeah, so she played a mermaid at the Denver Aquarium.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was pretty cool. One of the
That's
trainers
cool.
from 9 Round. So
That's cool.
yeah, it was.
So you moved from New York State when you were 10 years old.
Yeah.
How did that affect you?
It was a huge change. Obviously, Colorado and New York, very, very different. But I was from Long Island, so water, beach, all that good stuff. And then moving here with my mom and my family, it was different. It was very different. New York, I don't know if you've ever been, but it kind of tough, pretty tough. People aren't very friendly all the time.
You know what I found in New York City?
What did you find?
If you ask someone for directions, they love to give directions.
Oh yeah.
So even if you know where you're going, and if somebody is grumpy with you, just ask them for directions.
And they're going to tell you exactly where you need to be.
That's right.
Well, you know what I found in New York
Exactly where
City?
you need to be.
I found pizza, and that's
Pizza's
what I
good.
like. Pizza's good.
Pizza's good. Shopping's good.
Shopping's
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Shopping's great
Mhm.
out in New
Yes.
York. So if you got like, $20, just go to the city. You can probably like rack you up a whole bag of stuff. Yeah. Shopping's perfect.
It's good.
Yeah, it really is. But you know, when you are transitioned with your family, it doesn't matter where you are because you're with your family.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
know?
important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And last show you mentioned your contact information. Do you want to tell the viewers of
Yes,
this week?
absolutely. So again, I can be contacted either at Ari Spearman on Facebook or Instagram. Also, peaceofmindari@gmail.com. I love sending emails, or you can also reach me by phone. I love hearing people's voices. 719-210-8921.
Nice. Now, you work for Primerica. Are you still taking clients?
Absolutely. So, as a Primerica business owner, franchise owner, I'm looking to build other independent business owners as well as looking for new clients. Always looking for new clients. We are a nationwide business, so we're able to help people all over, which is the beauty about Zoom and the new world that we live in, right? Even though I'm not able to physically touch and hug people, I'm still able to connect with them. I'm still able to give them that energy and that vibe through the Zoom screen, and it allows me the opportunity to really touch more people because now I can reach my million-man impact because I've got 50 states at my fingertips instead of just Colorado and New York.
Wow, that's awesome. Do you do international clients as well? Like if someone's in Canada or the United Kingdom?
Yes, absolutely. So Primerica is actually in Canada, Puerto Rico, and Guam.
wow.
And they're currently expanding to other countries as well. They have to, make sure that they're reaching all of the different countries have different laws and procedures and regulations and things like that. So they're making sure that they are in compliance. They want to make sure that we're setting people up properly and for success there. So we have independent agents in Canada, Puerto Rico, and Guam right now, which is pretty awesome. Like just to be affiliated with a company that is just so, extensive.
So do you want to move to Guam?
Maybe. I actually have my son. Actually, we recruited a family into our family from basketball. A family from Guam.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And his name is Xander Muna, and it's pretty cool. Like their family's from Guam. They're islanders. They get to play basketball and grow up together.
I had a
and
friend who lived in Guam. When
learning
he was a
their
kid.
different cultures. They've got such good food. Bob makes such good food.
Speaking my language.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, maybe we should all move to Guam.
Yeah,
we should.
After this episode, we should see if there's a Guam restaurant open.
Let's go.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all we have time for tonight. Thank you so much, Ari, for
Thank you for
being
having
with
me.
us.
Thank you very much.
Please like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell icon from 2 Minute Duck Entertainment and The Third Chair. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week, and good night.
This has been The Third Chair. Want to be a guest? Want to sponsor our show? Send us an email. Please subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media.